I hate that. Let me turn the toothbrush off. At least, can you hear me, George? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you through the computer, but not the speakers, not the headphones, unfortunately. I feel bad because then I will bother Richard, but I don't know what to do.
No, I can't hear you through the computer, Vivian. Are you even in? You're not even in it, Vivian.
I'm going to try to see with my AirPods. I can't, this don't work. It's not working. I can try to charge my iPods a little more and see maybe if we are, I will be back.
Good morning. Hi, Ruth.
Like my headphones don't work, but you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so.
You look very pretty.
Oh, thanks. I don't know about that. Had no water at my house last night or today.
Oh, mine.
Why don't you have any water?
We have a water leak in one of the lines that way out back of our house, and then the plumber came at 5:30 and he was there till 9, but he needed a part that he didn't have, so he's got to come back today. So it's the way we roll when we're
It's just
renovating.
PVC pipe.
It's a pipe, yeah, it's underground. So it's like about 4 feet underground. He dug it out and everything, and he went to put the cap on it, and the cap cracked. So we had to keep the water off. We had a water bill of like almost $700 last month.
You have Palm Beach County Water Utility or no?
No, Lake Worth.
You can ask if they have an excessive usage credit.
Yeah, they do. Once you
Okay.
fix it. Yeah, we just got to get it fixed. Yeah, it went from like 3 to 7. I'm like,
Well,
what?
I know with Palm Beach County Water Utilities, you have to be, I think it's 4 times what your average is. So if it's not high enough, you may need to use a little bit more before you call it. I'm just saying. Otherwise, they're like, you know what, it's high, but it's not high enough.
It's high. I think it's high. Trust me. We're like, what? So we have just us. Let's see if anyone is emailing me.
So Ruth, we have it where if they cannot join the Zoom for any reason, they can join
Right.
YouTube, and it
Okay.
will be delayed, but they'll be able to send messages via chat. And
Okay.
then we can relay the messages.
Oh, that's
Okay.
awesome.
And it'll actually save the broadcast, at the end.
Yeah. And then, so it'll be, we could post it on a link on Facebook.
So if anybody
And-
missed it, they can just access the YouTube link. And everybody has access to
Awesome.
YouTube. So,
You
they
are
can
so good, George.
I know.
yeah, I talked to Houston about it for the CCRT meetings, and he thought that sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah. You don't want to
Yeah.
let people know much in advance. But
And we didn't. Let's see.
I was trying to review your module today, but everybody has its own problems with computers. So when I open my office laptop is not working. And when I try to open the module 2 in an email,
Yeah.
it doesn't let me. So the only way that I could see it is someone sends it to me via to my email at home. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. It's so definitely a lot of things to learn.
Can you just like show like your agenda or your?
Yep. Let me share my screen. Share screen.
I was trying to close let me see if I can choose the virtual background.
Can you see the?
I see that you blurred. I see. I am going to do it now. That's it.
There you go.
Can you see it like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's blurred now.
Yeah, I like yours.
Oh, mine's
It's
blurred.
like ready to have like a thunderstorm, George.
Mhm.
That's the Northern Lights behind George. I'm going to put my plant behind my head so it looks like it's growing out of my head. No, it's too blurred. Okay.
Okay, so if I close, it should stay okay. Yeah, good. But before I had to move the wee pads and Richard's shoes.
Can you see George?
I am a principal planner, no senior.
Oh, sorry. Sorry
That's
about that.
What is communication, active living, community and collaboration in a multicultural community, positive and productive meetings.
I don't think she's seen me yet.
Oh my God.
George somehow figured out how to do all the fun stuff. Crystal and I cannot figure that out, how he could do that.
Me
Is
too.
that a Word document?
Is this a Word document?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you change that?
Yeah, you can change it.
And Ruth,
I
we
will-
also have the option that where you see it says you are viewing Vivian's screen at the top where it says view options. There's a button that says
Yes.
there's a button that says request remote control, and it'll actually allow you to take control of her screen. Where
Yeah,
you
but I will never. I don't want to do anything
No, I'm
that
just
I
letting
could
you-
jeopardize. Yeah. What are
Yeah,
you
I'm just letting
doing,
you know that.
And what is the
No.
annotate? What is the annotate?
That just lets you like draw on the screen.
Okay. And
So,
then if you want,
Can you see my drawings or no?
if you want to do, yes. Can you
So-
get it out now?
Yeah, of course.
Well, how did you do that?
I just went to, hold on. Let me see if I can clear that. Hold on. Clear all drawings. All right. So you just go to view options, annotate, and then you'll see where it says draw, and you can just draw, or you can put on
The
stamp.
annotate, let me see. Oh, yes, I see. Okay. Okay, and how did you do in Zoom? Yeah, I saw the reactions. Yeah, okay. Oh,
And then you can go to the video filter.
now
and
you look scary.
Mhm. I'm Zorro.
We will see how this works anyway. We still have a little time, right?
Oh yeah, we got 12 minutes.
Okay.
Slideshow.
I got you a little doggy. See your little doggy, Ruth?
Is that a reaction?
No, it's a filter.
Aw.
So where you have the option that says choose virtual background, you
Yeah.
should see one right below that says choose video filter.
Oh, that's cute.
And you can change how your eyebrows look and what color they are, and
Oh
give
my
yourself
gosh.
a beard
We
and a
don't
mustache.
have that.
No, yes, we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Do you have it where it says studio effects and you can change your lip color? And
I don't have that.
I know Crystal and Vivian don't have that, but
No, we
I am
don't
going
have
to
it.
go and get my mate cocido. Mate cocido is like a green tea.
okay.
Oh.
I just wish they had an option to put hair on my head.
Yeah. You just
I mean,
have to wear,
I could change my eyebrows and give myself facial hair, which I don't need,
but
but
not head and
but
nothing
not
on
hair
your
on my head. I mean, come on. The closest I can do is put a little hat on.
There you go.
Nobody even knows I'm bald. Oh, they still know. Thanks, Vivian.
Hey.
Hey, I'm French.
Where's the croissants? It's so crazy. You are crazy.
Mm-hmm. Or you can just change the color. Make yourself look all discolored.
Oh, you look very pale.
Oh, I think I can change that. Hold on, let's see here. Oh, does that work? Oh, I can't do that in this filter. Did you cancel the WebEx?
Yes.
Okay. Because you're gonna probably have some people who may try to join the WebEx.
Yep.
And you may want to send a reminder now again, just in case.
All right, let me get.
Shut up, doggies. I will mute it later, okay?
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Taliska. Can you hear us?
Good morning.
Can I unmute her? No, I
I
can't.
think she unmuted. She muted herself
Okay.
and then just left. I think.
Okay.
You might have scared her off.
I saw her trying to get on before. So, well.
We can't hear you, Ruth.
Yeah, you're
And you
muted.
want to actually do the breakout sessions and then bring people back?
We can.
Yeah, well, that's what is on the
Good
agenda.
morning. Good morning, Cattell. Good morning, Kaliska.
Good morning. Yep.
Yeah, it's.
Okay, I'm in now.
Recording. Okay. Okay. No, not yet. Mr. Valancourt, did you have any issue opening Zoom?
No, not at all.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We did select it to broadcast to YouTube just in case anybody can't join via Zoom, that they can join us via YouTube.
Okay.
George is our tech guru.
Kelly, good to see you again. We saw you last week.
Captain.
Captain Kelly.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Thanks
I'm
for
here.
joining us for the second week.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the homework that you gave me beforehand. It has helped me.
Excellent.
I don't know
Did you
how
have
we
any trouble joining Zoom? I know we were using WebEx last week. We figured
Yeah, I
Zoom
had
would be a lot
trouble.
easier.
No trouble getting in.
Excellent.
Oui, les validé.
We had a lot of trouble with WebEx last week. About 15 people couldn't join us. That's why the attendance was kind of small.
hope it gets better today.
Oh. Yeah, c'est pas Rodolphe, non, je l'ai. Cecilio.
Captain Kelly, can you see the agenda on the screen?
I'm not near my phone right this second. I've
Okay.
got a problem with one of my units. They have an air conditioning problem. I'm texting that right now.
Okay.
I'll be joining you in just a minute.
Okay.
Is Mr. Tate joining us this morning?
Now he has a
Houston, no. Yeah. Okay. When after I just do the welcome, can George or you, Vivian, just cover quick 2 seconds to talk about the chat and the mute and stuff like that? Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Lennon. How are you?
Good morning.
Was it easier with Zoom this time? I know you had a lot of trouble with WebEx last time.
Well, now with Zoom was easy. Thank you.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Good morning, Nicola. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm very well, thank you.
Good
How was
morning.
connecting to Zoom? Was it easier than connecting to WebEx?
Yes. Yeah, I just
Excellent.
clicked on the link and boom, I got there.
Perfect.
Good.
Open the
That's
meeting.
great.
Yeah, if someone like me can do it, then anybody.
I feel ya. I feel ya. If they weren't for George, I'd just be bumbling along with this stuff.
Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sabrina.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Mhm.
George, you're seeing people come on before I am.
I just have the video screen a little bit enlarged, so
Oh, okay.
see more.
Actually, it would be nicer if it can be enlarged a little more.
You can stretch it up yourself.
Yeah, I
Just
did.
put the corner.
Yeah. Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah. You know, older people like me, our eyes, I don't know what the font is. It's a little small. Had a hard time to.
Are you talking about the agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can make that bigger. Is that better?
Oh, yes.
Really
Now I
big.
can see. Now I can see what it says.
I can't see anything with my eyes.
Morning, Carl.
Anybody can join anytime, so we don't have any waiting room or anything like that. So I'm just gonna wait till 5 after, and then we're gonna start because, you know, people plan their day around these Saturday's the day to do all your chores, right? So.
See everybody.
Good morning, Hillary. How are you?
Do we have people muted, George? I think
Yeah.
Sabrina's muted. Okay. I saw Nicola talking, but I couldn't hear.
No.
She good. Good morning, Rose. We can see you now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can everybody see the agenda on your screen?
Yes.
Okay, you should see that instead of me. So, and
11:30 a.m. We're not planning to keep you here for.
no, we're not. If you want to, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'll run out of things to say for sure.
I got you. Good morning, Cece.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good.
Hi. Okay. Welcome everybody to our second class in the Resident Empowerment Program. I want to introduce you to our boss, Ruth Mogolinski. She's Principal Planner for the Office of Community Revitalization. And Ruth, can you introduce yourself to our attendees?
Yes, thank you, Vivian. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this wonderful program today regarding powerful communication. We have a lot to cover. Actually, Vivian has a lot to cover, but I just wanted to say that powerful communication is key to any work that we do in our communities, because it provides you all with an opportunity to really get to know the people who surround you, your neighbors, and an opportunity to really understand what the problems are confronting your neighborhood, and to ensure that you address them all through collective action for improved living conditions for everybody. I don't really want to take too much time because I know that Vivian has a full agenda, but you already know Vivian, but Vivian is a senior planner, so she is the manager for this wonderful program. She is the manager for this program and is the one who fully developed it from the beginning. And then we have George Scott. You can see him. He's our planning technician and who is the go-to person for any computer or technical ready deployments with that we have. So with that, I am going to turn it back to you, Vivian, so you can start with the program.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, this is our agenda today that we're going to talk about. We're going to define communication because everybody kind of has their own idea what it is, but I think there's some nuances that that we should be aware of. And you know, as Ruth said, communication is the only way we're going. Good communication, I should say. It's the only way we're going to come together as a community and make changes. We're going to talk about active listening and what that means. And I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want to get your response to what you think that means. Also, we're going to talk about how do you communicate in a community that is multicultural. Many of our communities that we work in, our department works in, are multicultural. And they bring with them their values, their way of communicating. And so how do we work together to bring everyone to the table so that all the interest of everyone is respected? And we're going to talk about positive and productive meetings. It's very important that your meeting is positive and that people who attend feel like they feel better when they leave than when they came. And that's Robert's Rules of Order, not hard. I know a lot of people freak out about that, but really not that hard. There's cheat sheets out there that are great, and they're just very simple. Stress-free meeting minutes. Everybody goes, oh, do we have to do minutes? Really not that hard. Very major multi-million-dollar organizations have very simple meeting minutes, and that's all you need to do. And the next module, which is on the 25th of September, is building your volunteer base. So I want you to think about that. You're here, but you're gonna, if you have an idea what you want to do for your community or with your community, you're gonna need other people. So we're gonna look at that. So let's close this. Now, can you see this screen? Can you see the resident empowerment screen? Or am I not sharing? Am I sharing?
The agenda.
Okay, so let me close that. Hold on.
Let me mute my phone. So
mute your phone.
I know. I'm trying to find it.
I have to, because my my people I know will blow my phone up. Okay, can you see the PowerPoint? Yes, no? Anybody? I'm trying to.
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
Recording.
See. Yep, it's there we go.
Okay, now work.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. This program, just to remind you, is from the Palm Beach County Office of Community Revitalization. And just to remind you, we work with many communities in the county that are described as or have the characteristics of low income, crime, and code enforcement issues. So that's just who we are, and we try to help our residents with technical assistance, organizing their community, how to do that. We provide tools to help you do that, and we will get into that. Each meeting will give you a little more about what we do. This is effective communication in meetings. Anyone have a question? Before no? Okay. What is communication? Can anybody tell me what they think communication is? Anybody?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Sid. Communication is when you what it's like first and communication to communicate to tell somebody directly what is happening and they are not getting it as second hand.
Yes, communication, it's a lot of things actually. Communication is not just what comes out of our mouth, it's also listening. And by listening, we mean hearing. It's also nonverbal. It's how you move your hands, your facial expression, your eyes. Obviously, it's verbal, what we say, and it's visual. How do we? What do they say? The eyes are the window to the soul. Our eyes are very powerful tools, and it's written. You know, today communication has been vastly changed by technology. We use more online communication than probably we do many other kinds. And that's particularly true with younger people. I mean, my daughter, she doesn't email anymore. She's in her 30s. It's only text. So they prefer not even to do phone calls. So it's really moving in a different direction. Can anyone tell me which form of communication in here results in fewer misunderstandings? Anybody?
Can you repeat the question?
What of these communications here, the types of communication, would result in fewer misunderstandings between two people?
I would say the written one.
Listening. I would say listening, because if you're really listening, you're hearing the other person, and then you are not taking away something or feeling that they said something that they didn't say. So listening is honestly the biggest part of communication. And we have, there's problems with communication. I'm sure we've all experienced them, right? I think in your personal life, your between your partner, your kids, words are not always precise. It has to do with your ability to find the right word sometimes. And the speaker may be talking in code, and that means they're not really saying overtly what they want to say. So you have to kind of try to figure that out, and that's not good. And so decoding that is guesswork. So we're guessing what they're trying to say, but we're guessing it through our own filter. And that's where big miscommunication comes in. And I find that particularly true in, with your, significant other. And that's over time, something you have to learn their code. And the topic may not be the topic. Think about it. Has any of you been in a situation where somebody says, well, they get mad about something, but they're not really mad about that. They're mad about a whole bunch of other things that weren't addressed at another time. And I think we can all kind of relate to that. Blind or intense emotion, when you are upset and angry, you are not listening. You may not be able to really be listening because you're so upset. So these are things that we run into. And in today's world, we as listeners, as should be listeners, we're distracted. We have all these screens going, we're getting pinged, we're getting this, we're getting that, Instagram, text, all that, TikTok. So if we as the listener are distracted, we're going to have a problem because we are not hearing what the speaker's saying, and we're going to misunderstand. And the reality of communication is you're really only responsible for what you say, not what the listener understands. So the listener and the speaker have to be engaged and mindfully engaged in communication, which means you have to be present. We're going to talk about active listening. That is, again, being fully present in the time, not distracted by screens or thinking about all the things that you have to do in your day or next hour. And we have to pay attention. And again, because of technology, this has become really hard to do. And we sit as county employees, we sit in meetings, about different subjects, and people are looking at their phone. This is kind of a big problem. And what I would suggest in situations where you're trying to get to the meat of something is to agree to set your phone or tablet or screens aside so that you, particularly if it's important to your community and important in your personal life, what will happen if you don't resolve things? They'll keep coming back, and you'll keep having to talk about it, hash it out again, and that's just not good. Can anyone tell me what some active listening skills are? What would it mean to you to be an active listener?
Captain Kelly. I have to fold my hands so they're not fidgeting or doing anything else like that. I fold my hands so I listen better.
That's actually very good. I am a fidgeter as well. My foot is often going and all that. So I think, and I tend to be an impatient person myself, and I realize that about myself. But if you're trying to understand what you think you heard, you can ask open-ended questions. Do you ever have your kids come home from school and you're like, how was your day? Fine. Did you have a good time? Yes. So in other words, don't ask those questions. Say, what did you do today that you liked? Something that forces them to think, be engaged with you, and because you want to understand what is happening in their day. And if you ask closed-end questions like yes and no, you're not going to really understand. Ask for clarification. Are you saying this? Is this what you're saying? I want to understand it. Is this correct? Be attentive, look at their face. And not just their face, their body language. So attentive means you're focused on a lot, not just the words coming out, but also body language. And then summarize. And this is something because again, we communicate so much through email and text. Just say, so I understand my understanding of this conversation, our conversation was X, Y, and Z. And then if you follow up and say that and they say, no, that's good. Or you paraphrase what they said. In other words, repeat back what they said. Reflect feelings. In other words, be connected emotionally. In other words, if somebody's, your child is coming home and saying, I upset, say, I see you're upset. And, even if it's not your child, your friend or sister or brother, reflect back what you think you're seeing. Be attuned to their feelings and don't brush them off. The feelings may come out, maybe not very, because they're upset, they may come out not very clear. So you may have to say, I see you're upset. What are you upset about? Ask those questions. And again, ask probing questions. We're here to connect with each other. We're billions of people on the planet. And the thing that sort of makes it all work as best as it can is that we can communicate. We have the ability, the greatest ability of all creatures on the planet to connect and communicate at a very deep level. But we have to be engaged in that particular act ourselves. Okay. Okay. All right. Gotcha. I can't see that. So thank you. Here's some tips to build your listening skills. Maintain eye contact. Sometimes that seems uncomfortable for people. It might make you feel like it's too much, it's too intimate or whatever. But we need to remember that our eyes are so powerful. They're just these two little balls in our head, but the amount of information that can be communicated through your eyes it's amazing to me. And turn your head to the left. Your right ear, believe it or not, because of the way your brain is created, your right ear is a listening ear. In other words, that information goes to the part of your brain that is the hearing part. So I know that's counterintuitive. It's just like your eyes really have an upside down image, but your brain allows that image to be right side up. That's the same way with your ears. I thought that was a fascinating fact. Acknowledge your interest in the conversation. In other words, you're not just standing there waiting or sitting there for the person to stop talking. You're nodding, you're saying yes, okay, making you're making some acknowledgement, nodding your head. I hear what you're saying. Open posture, you're not got your arms crossed, you're not looking down, that would be not open posture. So open posture is, I am present, I am here. Let the speaker finish. Interruption, and we all do it. I'm guilty myself. And I will, if somebody says, whoa, wait, I will stop and realize what I'm doing. It is a habit. But if we don't let the person finish, then what kind of respect does that show? And, I don't want anyone to interrupt me. So it's sort of a respect thing. Part of what, again, makes us as a society function is sort of these civil manners and rules. That's kind of the grease that keeps us from, rubbing each other the wrong way. So communication, when you think about it, good communication is allowing us to get along in all of our contacts with each other. And that's why I think it's so important. And it's good for me even to remind myself about these things. Reserve judgment. It's easy when you're talking to somebody, and can anyone has an experience where somebody's saying something and they just couldn't take it? Anybody have that experience? And
I've talked, Captain Kelly, I've talked politics to people before, and that happens.
Yes, exactly. And I was going to use that. Thank you, Captain Kelly. It's this has become a huge problem. Again, technology has sort of made it a lot more difficult. And so technology, we have to be careful that our, and what happens is there's logarithms when you're on social media, that if you look at something, then you get more of that thing. So we get constant reinforcement of our beliefs or what we think is the right thing. So we have to reserve judgment. And if we are going to get along, and if we're going to bring our communities together and our country together, we have to reserve judgment. Hear the person out, hear what they're saying, try to understand where they're coming from. And there's been a lot of that cultural attack, and it's been very, I think, unproductive. And ask for clarification. I mean, I have friends that I don't agree with on certain things, and I ask them, why do you feel that way? Where did you get that? Or I ask for clarification. And let's be sensitive to the speaker. Let's not show our derision of what they're saying. Like, whoever's saying what they're saying, they believe that. They're not just saying it to be difficult. They believe that. So let's be sensitive and ask why. And this is another one, stay calm. Again, we've all seen a lot of things, particularly in the last few years, where there's a lot of disagreement, and it can also often result in physical altercations. And so somebody, and I don't know if you're in your relationships where you've had a very strong argument, but one person has to be the person that diffuses that situation. And you will come across this in your efforts to bring your community together. You will find people that just explode. So as a leader, I would like you to remember somebody has to diffuse that situation, and let it be you, since you're going to be a leader. The majority of communication in humans, and I'm sure in a lot of primates, is nonverbal. We often think it's what we say. It's usually not. It's a lot, it's your body language. And a lot of us kind of maybe at some point, if we've been in companies or whatever, they'll do that kind of training about body language, how to read it. Words are only a small portion of that whole pie. Your tone of voice, your modulation, your pauses. If you've ever seen a really good speaker, they do that. I mean, I think it's interesting to watch a good speaker because they keep you attentive with their pauses to make, okay, this is like this sink in. So a lot of it is nonverbal. And we have to remember to use our eyes and our observation skills to see that. The words may be saying one thing, but body language is saying a whole nother thing. Has anyone ever seen somebody say one thing and their body language is, they got their fists clenched, they sound okay, their fist is clenched, their jaw is tight. Anyone ever have that situation? And you're like, you're confused. You're like, what's happening? So we are complicated creatures. We are not easy creatures. These are some of the examples of nonverbal communication. Your posture, are you like, if you're kind of slumped over, you're like, you're not really engaged, you're kind of turned halfway. Your tone of voice is like, meh, meh. You blink too much. If you're blinking, that is a sign in many cases of you are impatient with what people are saying. You're disagreeing with what they're saying. So you're blinking to sort of stop. Your facial expression, your gestures, you see, talk with your hands. Like people talk with their hands. Some people do. And that's if you've ever seen a good speaker, either an author or whatever, you'll see that they use their hands in a way that sort of reinforces what they're saying. So that's, these are things that you need to be aware of. If you're going to bring people together and convene people in your neighborhood, these are some really good skills.
I do think it's boring.
Nonverbal communication can reinforce what you're saying, or it can contradict it. It can substitute for words. Your face, with all of the muscles that are in your face, your eyes, you sometimes can't even control it. You can, but because your emotions are kind of making your face do things, your face can be more expressive than your words. Does anyone tell me a time that would be the case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes back to it.
Yes. One for me is loss. When someone loses a loved one, there really is no words for their loss. It's almost impossible to put into words. It's hard. So they can see through your face. If you just look at them and you show, I feel your pain, it's really good. And let's see, we're going to do a little test. Let's see if you guys can pass this test. What is this man's body language saying? Can anyone have an idea which one is correct?
Nervousness?
Yes, that's correct. He's nervous. He doesn't, he's unsure, right? He looks unsure. He looks not confident.
What would shameful look like?
Shame is, I mean, something kind of not so much in our culture, but not in American culture really, but it's where you, I don't know. I don't know what, I would know it if I saw it, but I don't know.
Isn't it where you hang your head? Like you kind of hang your head low.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're a little kid, you'd say, I can't believe you did that. Right. And they go, oh, they feel bad that they disappointed you, I think.
You look shame.
Yeah. True or false? When talking to someone, feet pointed towards you is a sign of mutual respect.
True.
That is true. It means that you're fully, you did at least you're focused on the person, you're facing them direct on. And you can tell when you go into a party or a group, the person who has the most, charismatic person, more feet will be pointing to that person. So next time you go into a group, look at that and see how many feet are pointed to that person. And that's because either they're a great communicator and they make people feel great or whatever. If somebody's not really engaged, they will have their feet pointing the other way or towards the door. Again, these are like little signals. They're not necessarily verbal, obviously, but these are just signals that you want to look for. Which of the following images contain attraction cues, or clues, I guess. Anybody have a guess?
Touching ears.
I know that is not one. I was surprised too. I would have thought that. Obvious one is B.
Yes.
C, I'm pretty sure.
C.
Right? C is correct. Yep.
E.
Yes, that's a very feminine one that happens a lot.
G.
Yeah. G, definitely. But I was surprised at this one, F. F is, again, and we are just animals, but when a man, only a man, rolls up their sleeves, that's a sign of, look at my muscles. So it's sort of like.
It's the pain. In my culture, I'm from Cuba, you see a man doing that, rolling his leg, and say, oh my God, he's going to fight. No.
Yes. Yeah, it's a sign of saying.
I agree.
You better run. You better run.
I agree, Yesenia.
Or they're going to like make a move and, they're going to aggressively approach you across the room. So it's funny how women have certain, and again, these have been developed over thousands of years. So, and it's funny that we still sort of do these things without thinking about it. We just learn it from our culture.
And maybe he's rolling up his sleeve to start cooking.
Good one. Oh man, probably not. But
sometimes that could be right. It could be right. Which of the following eye movements indicates that a person is lying? Can you guess out of
and
these?
then move the eye to the right.
It's none of the above. I was surprised too. I guess I got that one wrong myself.
It's looking away from somebody, right?
Looking away, yeah.
You would say looking away, or looking up, but
maybe
they have not.
Maybe staring at face.
That's what I would think too. I would say that too, but it's not. They said there's no body language experts say there's no evidence, and people that do lie detection and all that, they say there's no proof so far that any way a person's eyes move indicate that they're lying. So there's no evidence. So some people maybe aren't comfortable looking right in your eyes. So they're not very comfortable with that intimacy. So they may be looking around to avoid that, or they're thinking. Have you ever seen, I've seen people who think they look up to think about something. Have you seen that? I've seen that.
I do that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're basically taking some stimuli away from your eye so you can process what is you're hearing. We had a mayor in West Palm, Mayor Daves, he just passed away, but he on the dais, he would close his eyes, and everybody think he'd be asleep, right? But he's closing his eyes to remove the stimuli of all the people in the meeting, and so he can really hear what's happening. That was just his way of staying in tune to what was being said. Anybody have an idea of what this body language might indicate?
Confidence.
Fear.
Exactly right. No, it's confidence. Their hands are pointed to you. Their feet are open, so they're not closed or crossed. It's confidence. They're not sitting back. They're leaning forward. They are, and when you lean forward, it sort of shows, I'm in this. I'm here. I'm not afraid to be here. And so it is confidence. I mean, and of course, all these can be vary very minutely and change the whole thing. So here's a really strong emotion, disgust. Which one shows disgust?
B.
B. Yeah, B.
D.
D.
D. Yeah.
B.
Disgust. Yeah,
Disgust.
I say
And
B.
it's
good
D.
too.
I think D.
Yeah, you know, it's D because by nature, disgust, we tend to scrunch our face up, and it's like I'm talking about outright disgust of something either you experienced yourself or overheard that was like, oh, you know. So it's a natural response to bad smells or bad sights, or it's so again, all our facial expressions are kind of thousands of years in the making, and they come from animals. Like we were animals. We lived in trees at one point, I'm sure. And we didn't have language. We were not speaking primates until very recently in our history. So how would we express as a nonverbal creature? We do it with our face or our body language. We turn away to show I don't want to engage with you. Or so this is where it comes from. And it's interesting how we've evolved to become, still at the end of the day, these are coming from our, development as human beings.
Hey, making coffee?
Is this a genuine smile? What does anybody think?
Yes.
That's no, just a fake
No.
smile. Yeah.
Fake smile.
Yeah, he's trying too hard. He's trying too hard. He may be smiling at his uncle that's telling him something kind of crazy, and he's like,
He's giving a plastic smile.
He's
plastic.
Fake it until you make it right there.
Yeah, he's definitely trying too hard to please somebody, or he doesn't agree with what they're saying, but maybe it's his boss or his wife, and he's like, okay, I don't want to deal with it right now, but sure, okay.
Yes, that's right.
I'm sure we have all done this before. True or false? Putting objects in your mouth, such as your eyeglasses, your fingernails, your pens, can be a sign of anxiety.
Yes.
True.
That is correct. That is true. Yeah. And that's because, have you ever known anybody that chewed the end of every single pen they ever had? They just chew it like, and you go to grab one of their pens, you're like, oh, it's like, wow.
What they do all the time, they chew on their nails. Look at their nails.
Yes. And that is anxiety. That's unfortunately, and again, this behavior comes from wanting your mother to comfort you. So, we did that through our, breastfeeding. So again, this is going back thousands and thousands of years. These behaviors are not just, they're tied to something that we did a long time ago, and follow us through. And it's also a habit. So we have to, if we do these things, we might want to try to break that habit if we can. Not easy. Take 6 weeks to break habit. True or false? Crossed arms always indicate that someone is closed off. What do you guys think? Anybody?
That kind of creaminess with hard ice.
False.
It's great. I really like how thick.
Yeah. Yep. False. It is not always true. It
No,
can mean
exactly.
people are concentrating, they're cold. It doesn't necessarily mean I don't agree with you. It is not meaning that they're not hearing you. It's just, I've seen people who, when they're in a conversation, their arms are crossed, but they're totally focused on the other person.
Yes.
So it may be a way of just, if you're standing in a room or standing in a place that you don't want your arms just hanging there, right? So you just cross them. It's maybe more comfortable. So it's not necessarily true. Don't look at that and go, oh, well, they don't want to talk to me. It's not really true. Which part of the body does someone touch typically to indicate sincerity, that they mean what they're saying?
Their chest.
Correct. That is correct. And that's because that's where your heart is. And if you are truly trying to, and this probably comes, a lot of these body things come to us without us thinking about them. We don't say, I'm going to touch my chest to show I really mean what I say. We don't do that on purpose. We do it because we've been, socialized to do that over time. And however, we may have been socialized to do things incorrectly too. So sometimes we have bad habits like chewing on pens or our nails that aren't good for us. They're not really healthy for us. And we have to sort of try to unlearn that behavior. Which of the following body language cues is this person exhibiting? Which show anger? Which one of these show anger? You can choose up to 5, which is all there is.
5.
It's all of them. When you're mad at somebody, and again, this is not necessarily something that we do on purpose. It happens. We've been socialized that these are the things that mean I'm angry with you. And if somebody's doing this, maybe they're listening to a conversation you're having in a meeting, and they are exhibiting this. They're either angry about what's being said or they're angry about something else and they want to tell you, they want to wait. Yeah. Have you ever had that? Somebody's like standing waiting to talk to you and they look like that. Right? And it's like, oh no. No, okay. So something's up here. I don't know what it is, but or you may know why they're angry. You may know, and you're just gonna have to see what's going on there. So when you see this, what does these two people, what is their body language indicating? Do you have any idea?
All of the above.
Yes, they are. And I think, again, if anyone's been in a relationship, either, they're just frustrated. They're not communicating. The woman's body is turned away. It's turned to the side. It's called blading. That's called blading. Basically, you're turning your body away, not away, but in an angle to the person so that you're not open to them. Yeah. And she's
leaving stuff on top of the counter when you wash.
Yeah, it looks like financial troubles to me.
That sounds like experience there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've done that. Oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills this month?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, here we go again. And so that's frustration and fear. He's covering his man parts because that's fear. He's fear. And these are animal behaviors. If you go to the zoo, you're going to see these behaviors in the primates, the gorillas and the chimpanzees, because these are all how they communicated. They didn't say, I'm unhappy that you went to Target and spent $500. They can't say that. So they had to communicate non-verbally. And that's where a lot of this comes from, turning away, putting your head down. These are all, and we don't realize we're doing it. I think any of us can probably say, I recognize this in ourselves and say, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that, but that's what I was doing. As we talked about a little bit before, and again, there's body language in this as well. We live in multicultural communities, whether we know it or not. I live in the town of Lake Worth, which is very multicultural on a number of levels. So you have to have an understanding that people are all people, no matter where you go. And if you travel or you come from another culture, there's more that we share as human beings than we don't share. We all share the desire to have a decent place to live, food, our children to have a better life. Every culture has those underlying values, no matter where you go. The things that are different doesn't mean that they're not as good as our culture, whatever that means. It is different is not less. That's something you learn when you get to know people of different cultures. They have different foods, they have different ways of celebrating life or, mourning, but at the end of the day, they celebrate, they mourn, they get together and share food. So all of these things are similar, but they might have, jerky instead of barbecue. But at the end of the day, they're still sharing food. In your neighborhoods, it's good to find out where your residents come from. The census data, which we just, the Census Bureau is putting those numbers, the final numbers together. And what that will tell you, and we will have access to the very detailed information by census tract, or which will tell you, do they speak English in the home? Yes or no? It's important to know that. Where do they come from? Latin America? Where do they come from? I do a lot of work in Sandcastle, which is a very large community in Lantana, and they have residents from Central America, the Caribbean, Haiti. They have a lot of different people. And it's interesting that at the end of the day, they can come together, and maybe they can't communicate so easily verbally, but they do come together and do things. And it's also good to learn about the cultural values of residents. If you look up in Google, and you can do that, say, Central American, are they trusting? Do they have a distrust of government? Do they have a distrust of banks? These are things that you learn. And when I lived in West Palm Beach, I worked in the North End for a nonprofit, and we had a lot of Guatemalans who had come to work in the agricultural. Well, they didn't trust banks, did not. So they would carry their money from their paycheck around in their pockets, and they would get robbed. So many of them were getting robbed that they set up a system where they would trust where they could put their money. They worked with them so they wouldn't get beat up and then robbed. They carry their money, and then they go to a place and they send money home. I forget what it's called. What's it called? I forget. Where you send money. I forget. MoneyGram? Yeah, MoneyGram. I haven't done it in so long, I forgot. Yeah, there's a lot of those places where people from Central America live. You'll see those places advertised, or little storefronts, and that's where they go to send. They'll pay cash to send a MoneyGram to their family. So we have to understand, if we don't understand what why they do what they do, we're going to think, well, that's dumb, right? But that's not really fair to think that. Haitians also have a big distrust of banks, and they have a system where they pool their money. They pool their money so that one person can buy a car, and then I forget what it's called, but it's like a round robin. And then the next time somebody gets that money, so they can put a down payment on a house. So
they call partner.
Oh, okay. I can't remember the name, but I know I have friends that are Haitian, so they've told me that's how they, when they come here, they do that system, and before long they're buying a house, and they have this support system for each other, which in a lot of ways, some of our multicultural people still embody what we used to have in our country, where if somebody was in need, we came to their aid. We've sort of gotten away from that in America, and that's part of what the Office of Community Revitalization is trying to do, is help communities come back together and help each other. And the reason for that is actually very practical. The government can't do everything. It doesn't have enough resources or manpower. So the government can't come to an elderly lady's home that can't take care of her lawn. They'll just do code violations on her. So how helpful is that? But if you know that person has that need and they living on $800 a month Social Security, if we start to understand who our neighbors are, then we can figure out, is there help somewhere else for them? Or is this something we have to pick up if we want to make this a better place to live? And you know what, if it happens to any of us where maybe we get sick, something happens to us and we can't do those things, and then a lot of bad things can happen. The government doesn't have, I wish we did. I wish we had some kind of program where we could do that, go to an elderly person's home and do the yard once a month or something, but we don't. So, in one of our communities, I'll just give you an idea of that. They got a grant through our department, and they bought lawn equipment and things like that. And they go to these older person's homes, particularly before a storm, and they trim things for them. And so that the trees don't fall in the house. They'll board up windows for them. And I just thought, wow, that is what we used to do for each other. We used to do that. But overall, all cultures share similar values, and it's rare that they don't. We have to focus on what the similarities are. If you're trying to bring together a multicultural community, do a potluck dinner. You bring a dish from your country that you think people would like, and let people try it and try some of their food. And I think that's really important in our neighborhoods. Let's talk about meetings. Everybody loves meetings, don't they? Is a neighborhood group, if you're starting to form a neighborhood group, you're going to have a board meeting. And what that is your regularly scheduled meeting of the elected board members. And the minutes are taken to reflect decisions. The board members are typically 5 people, and they are taking the direction of the community, the vision of the community, and they're implementing it. So they're implementing projects that and programs that will lead the community towards the vision that it wants to achieve. So minutes are very important to be, because they have to be accountable. The board members have to be accountable to the residents. Resident meeting is a regular meeting that typically these are monthly, and it's to let people know what's happening. Most of our resident meetings, you'll have a PBS a deputy there talking about the crime that occurred, what's happening. Is it up? Is it down? We did a sting on this house, or they'll let you know. And if people say, well, what was going on, on blah, blah, they'll let you know that they did this or that. So it's also talking about if the community, let's just say they're working on streetlights, where is that project in the development pipeline? And it's good to have these meetings because that's where your next board members are going to come from. So think about the importance of these meetings. A, it's for transparency. B, it's to hopefully develop other residents' interest in either volunteering in general or volunteering to serve on the board. Ad hoc committee, you'll hear that word ad hoc. That means on the spur of the moment, basically. And it's just formed to help. It's only for one purpose. Say, we want to know what can we do about the code violations in our community. Can a couple of people work on researching how the county does it? What are the options? What can we do? And then come back to the board of directors. It's a one purpose committee. It has a beginning and it has an end. And these are good because people a lot of times have an interest in a particular subject. They may not want to be on the board, but they're like, oh, I really care about littering or dumping, illegal dumping. And they'll want to take the time to research what can be done about it. And then often if if you have a formal board, you might have subcommittees. An example of that would be finance. There's a couple of people who are good with numbers will be the finance committee and make recommendations of where money should be funneled, where they can get money, applying for grants. A grant subcommittee could be people that look for grants and what grants fit for your particular organization. What grants are you qualified to apply for? Grants are not, everybody thinks, oh, we'll just write a grant, but that's a little more complicated. And we do have a module on that as well. So those are the types of meetings. Let's talk about holding effective meetings. You don't hold a meeting to have a meeting. That is not, I don't think that's conducive to making people want to come. You have to have a reason. What's the reason? Anybody give me a reason for a meeting. Give me a reason to do it.
Resolve a problem.
Resolve a problem, exactly. Anyone else? Nicola? Nicola, you gotta, I think you're on mute.
Information?
Yes, get information. Yes. We cannot have a meeting we always have a monthly meeting. We always have one. Well, if you don't have anything to put on the agenda, it's going to turn into a complaining session. It's actually called something else. But
also can be like, excuse me, and it also can be like if you have a project to put on, then you call a meeting to let everybody know what the project is, what they're going to be doing.
Right. And who can help with that? Find out who can help with that project. Because that's, you can have a meeting to discuss the project and then ask for volunteers to help. Right. And I'll tell you, a couple of our projects that your neighborhoods can apply for do require people to go out and get signatures. So, obviously you don't want that to fall on one person. That's not really fair. So that's right. You want to spread that, and when you get people involved in something positive, like improving the community, that's what they feel valued. They feel like, oh, we're making a difference. So that's a good reason to have a meeting. And to have a good meeting, you want to notify your residents through multiple channels. I come across this a lot. I hear this a lot. Well, nobody came to the meeting. I said, well, did you advertise it? Did you put yard signs out? Did you put it on Facebook? Did you put it on Instagram? Did you, did you let anybody know? Did you hand out flyers? It's not easy to get people to meetings, period. So the more ways you can get that information out to them, the more likely you will get people to attend. Have an agenda. Don't have a meeting without that piece of paper that says, the meeting is here, it's this date, it's this time, this location, who, what, where, when, why. That's like the old adage. And stick to that agenda. Because, right. And I think we've all been in a meeting where it kind of went way off track, and you're like, what? And the meeting was supposed to be 6 to 7, and the meeting went to 7:30 and didn't finish the agenda. So and start and end on time. This is often difficult in our communities. We have most of our residents are workers, and they're in the workforce, which is good. But their time is valuable. Our time, everybody's time is valuable. Make progress and celebrate your wins. This is something. Some of our communities have so many challenges that it's just you're just constantly trying to pull the cart forward, and your effort is pulling it forward, that you don't look back and celebrate your wins. And I worked in a nonprofit for many years, and we just were constantly but when we look back, we're like, wow, we did 30 houses. We built 30 brand new houses in a neighborhood that hadn't had a new house in 30 years. So, we have to remember to celebrate your wins, because let's be honest, people want to be on a winning team, right? Right. You don't want to be on the team that doesn't get anything done or anything. And don't think that because this project happened, speed humps is a good project that we work with your neighborhoods to do. People might look out their window and see a speed hump. They probably signed the petition for it, but they don't really know that it was, instigated by the neighborhood group, that it was the neighborhood folks that went and got the signatures for it. Here's what I recommend. Get the yard signs, and on those streets that got speed humps, say, this project brought to you by blah, blah neighborhood group and Palm Beach County and Office of Community, and we can help you with all that. But I recommend that you let people know, because don't assume they know it was the neighborhood group or the volunteers. And be positive. It's, again, a lot of our neighborhoods have multiple challenges, and it's very easy to come and say, oh God, can you believe this or that? And, it just turns into and honestly, you're just not going to want to go to that meeting. You're not going to, celebrate your wins, be positive, make progress, stay on topic. It's easy for your meetings to get off track. If you have people, and this has happened to me, that are aggressive. This happened at a neighborhood group, very aggressive, interrupting everybody, threatening people. Seriously. So it's hard to stay on topic when you have people that will interrupt the meeting. Yeah. Have you ever been at a meeting like that where and it just dragged on?
Yes.
Yeah. It's very frustrating for people sitting there. Yeah. And whoever is the board chair is running the meeting, and the board chair has to do it in a very respectful way. Say, thank you. We'll have comments of things that aren't on the agenda after we finish the meat of the agenda. We have to move forward with this. So it's really up to the chair to and also the conflicts. Hopefully this doesn't happen to you guys, but like I said, this happened at a meeting, several meetings, where it was highly, very like almost physical. And we all kind of walked out together to sort of make sure that that particular person wasn't waiting for us outside. So it's not always easy to diffuse these conflicts. You try to, when you have a person like that that is doing that, you're going to have to find a respectful way to diffuse it. And it's not always easy because you're not always dealing with people that are rational. So, but do the best you can, like say, hey, I hear your frustration. We feel frustrated too about this, but we're trying to do something about it. You want to help us. And, you put it back on them because they're putting it on you. Hi, I see your daughter there. Have a sign-in sheet. This is important. You want to know who's coming to your meetings. You want contact information so that you can text them or email them about the next either, volunteer opportunity or meeting. So that's how you're going to get that information. And that it's easy to do. You just print it out. I can give you a template for that. If you want, you just email me and I'll do that. Incentivize attendance with food and or a 50-50 raffle. We as the county can't do that for you. That has to be on your own time and all that. But all you need is some cookies and some fruit or something. A 50-50 raffle, I've seen that be very good at getting people to a meeting. And that's where, you buy tickets, $1 a ticket, then they pick a winning ticket and that person gets half the pool. And then the rest of the money goes for the neighborhood to do projects. So you remember that sometimes you have to incentivize people to come so then they might get interested in a topic and keep coming.
I would like to be interested in that one.
Yes, that's a good one. And, we have a neighborhood plantation. And so you guys, sometimes you also have to raise money to do what you want to do. Agendas and minutes. Everybody hates these, but they're really not hard. And I have templates for these things. So post the agenda to your social media. And honestly, if you don't have Facebook, you got to do it. If you need help with that, I can help you. I've helped a couple neighborhoods set their Facebook up, but I see some people here that I'm sure can already know how to do it, already have their own Facebook. So if you have your own Facebook, then it's easy for you to open a neighborhood one. Again, always include the date, time, and location. People will say, "Oh, I didn't know where it was. I didn't know what time it was." So, and then, we all make mistakes. But if you use a template, you use last month to make the next month, you're not going to mess up. You're just going to change the date, and you're just going to change the items on the agenda. And minutes should be used for neighborhood groups that are 501c3s. An example of we have two neighborhoods that I know of that have a nonprofit status with the IRS, that's Cabana Colony and Lake Worth West. And they, the reason they became 501c3s is twofold. One, to solicit donations from local businesses, and two, to apply for grants. So they have to have minutes. They don't have any, they can't not do minutes. They have accountability to people who give to them and grant funders. Mm-hmm. And minutes are not a transcript. This is often very confusing to people. The easiest way I tell people to do minutes is take your agenda. If there is a vote on something, what action took place? Who made the motion? Who seconded the motion? Was it yay or nay? End of story. You don't have to go into detail on it. And that's all you need. If you look at some of, so like I'm thinking the Delray CRA. Delray CRA, they're a multi-million-dollar organization. They have very simple minutes. So don't be intimidated. Nobody wants to be the clerk or the minute taker. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's really not. It's don't overthink it. That's all I can tell you. Robert's Rules of Order. I know some people might have heard of this. This is how your county commission meetings are run, your local city commission meetings, proper, 501c3s, nonprofits. They use Robert's Rules of Order, and they are not really, again, not that onerous. I know there's a book that's, an inch thick or more, but that's really more than any of you will need. It's really just a parliamentary process. How do we run the meeting? It's kind of the rules of how people get to make a motion, how people get to, second the motion, all that. But more importantly, ensures that meetings are fair, efficient, democratic, and orderly. They're not to be used as a hammer on somebody. I've seen that done, but that's not really the right way to use them. And really, it's for courtesy and respect. Again, it's that oil that we use to between people to keep us moving forward with minimum of conflict. So think of it that way. It's like that grease, in your ball bearings that keep those things moving forward. That's all this really is. It limits disruptions. You don't need a gavel. You can just say order. And I have a cheat sheet, and I'll be happy to email it. I'll email it to you on Monday. I'll mail you the Robert's Rules of Order cheat sheet, and it's really easy. And it's a good habit to get into, because once you do it, it becomes second nature. People understand how the meeting's going to go, and it's just a really good habit to get into.
And if you haven't given us your email so that you want that to be sent to you on Monday, if you could just send it to me in the chat, then I'll make sure that you guys get the email on Monday.
I think all of you are on. I recognize your names, so I know that I have your email. And if you're new and you came and you didn't register at the beginning, before the first class, if you just came on today, make sure you give us your email in the chat. And it's really important to remember this. Speak positively. Just speak positively. Even if somebody is saying negative things, say, I hear you. Here's what we're doing to address that. I hear you. Here's what we're doing. Do you want to be on this committee to work on that?
Right.
So always keep positive. I have to say that is not easy. Be open to different points of view. And I think this is important for neighborhoods where you have multicultural people, but even without that, I worked in a place and I always ask the whole staff, like, we're going to do this grant and here's how I'm thinking. Tell me what could go wrong. Tell me what you think could go wrong and tell me what you think can go right. And what's the best way you think to do this? Well, I'll tell you what, you get some great ideas of how to do it by being, instead of saying, well, we're already doing this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and I hear that at meetings and I'm like, whoa, just listen, because there may be a kernel of some great idea in there that we're missing because we're too focused on the right way or the way we're doing it or something. Listen, pay attention, move forward and have fun. If your meetings aren't fun, if they're not positive, if people can't present, an alternate view on an agenda item or later in the meeting when there's public comment, that section that we add at the end, which is open for non-agenda items, we'll lose people. And I will tell you this, there's no, you really don't have a lot of people that are willing to do what you guys want to do. So you have to try to keep as many on the team as possible. It's sort of like a football team. The coach is the one that kind of says, hey, we can do this, come on. You have to be that person. You have to be that person that, you know, and then listens to the players, what their ideas are, how to make that play, you know, and make it happen, make that touchdown. So any comments or questions? You guys are so good. Anybody have any other thoughts about any of this or different ways to look at it?
Captain Kelly, on when you said about have a meeting, just to have a meeting, not to do that. Some organizations, I belong to an organization, and we have in the bylaws when the meetings are. And they have to be followed because they're in the bylaws. And sometimes because of COVID, we haven't had a lot of progress. And now all of a sudden you've got to have a meeting because it's in the bylaws, and the people who actually know what the bylaws are sit there and slam the board because, you know, you're not having a meeting. Well, there's nothing to report. We didn't have a quorum because there's nothing to talk about. It's boring other than what the finances are of the club.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's why I say, you know, you don't have to have a monthly meeting unless it's in your bylaws. And I would caution any group from putting that in there because COVID has taught us something really important. Meetings will be postponed, and due to natural things like hurricanes, floods, you know, you may not be able to have a meeting. You may not have electricity. So to put it in your bylaws, it's like Captain Kelly said, maybe, you know, counterproductive. And it's also counterproductive if it's not in your bylaws just to do it because you want to do it. If you don't have anything new to report, don't have a meeting. It's not really worth it. You know, and these days we're not having, you know, some groups are going back to in-person meetings. They are. Some are, most are not. I'll tell you right now, they're not. So, and we would have thought, you know, I don't know about you guys, but we thought, oh, this is gonna be over. You know, we were working from home in end of April, and we thought 3 months we'll be back. Well, we're on year 2, so we just don't know what's going to happen in the future. So, like Captain, that was a very good point. Don't put that in your bylaws of when you need to meet. So I wouldn't have thought of that. Thanks for bringing that up, though. And COVID was a big hit. It's a big hit. You're not able to recruit very easily. Not everybody knows how to Zoom, or, you know, most people know how to FaceTime these days, I think, mostly. But even then, you're limited to how many people can be on that. So we have challenges in these times, and I'm hoping that by the end of this year, we're able to move forward and you guys can get people together in person, because there's nothing like an in-person meeting. You can, this class was supposed to be in person because we thought we were on our way. And that would have been much more preferable, because you guys would have been working in teams and coming up with ideas. Each team would have an idea of how to do X, Y, and Z, and we would talk about it and discuss it. So that's sort of the difficulty of COVID. And then you have people that, you know, in your neighborhoods that have lost their jobs due to COVID, and, you know, they're not focused on anything right now but just surviving. So we have been doing, just so you know, the Office of Community Revitalization has been doing, for the first, I don't know, 6 months of COVID, delivered hot meals to many of our communities. And now we're still distributing food to our communities. And the ones that have a sort of core dedicated group of volunteers that will help distribute get the food and distribute it. So we've distributed fresh food, vegetables, milk, that kind of thing. And then, non-perishable foods. So that's one of the things that we've done. And I think I said this last time, in Sandcastle, they did little food pantries, like the little libraries, and they're a little bit bigger, but they're the same design. And they put non-perishables and things that kids might want, like books or toys or things like that. And it's basically a sharing thing. You put something in, you take something out, kind of thing. And then COVID, that's been like very important. We've the amount of need in the communities has just been so amazingly huge, and we can only do so much, but that's where we need you guys to help us. Tell us what. Yeah.
Sorry. Can I interject? Yes, it's just like when I got the flyers in my mailbox, and I said, "Oh, I want to be a part of this meeting of communication and all that, and I want to be more involved into a lot of activities." So I like doing those stuff, but I don't know how to reach out to which person or what. I don't know. So when I get this, I was so glad. And then it's supposed to start it on the 3rd. It didn't. I don't know if it started on the 3rd, but I didn't get anything. I was like, I don't get an email. I don't get nothing. I don't know if this class is gonna go on. And I think most 2 days after that, I saw the email, and that's how and today is my first day in the class right here. So I like communicate. I like when people communicate to me and let me know what is what and all that. I get frustrated when people not communicating to me about things that I'm a part of.
Yep. I will tell you all the PowerPoints, this will be posted on Monday, this PowerPoint, and we have the training modules. If you didn't get them, I did send them by email, but they're also on our website, the Office of Community Revitalization in Palm Beach County, and under programs, this program, Resident Empowerment, you have the agendas, the training modules, and after the class, we'll post, Monday, I'll have them post the PowerPoint to the website. So you'll see that at least the training modules and the agendas are on the website already. Yes. And when we will have this on YouTube, and we'll have a link to that as well. So if you know anybody that might be interested, you can, point them in that direction. Each of these classes is kind of dealing with a different element of organizing and how to organize and how to make things happen. It's really to empower you to improve your community. Knowledge is power, as they say. Then how do you get the funds to do what you know you need to do? We're going to be talking about that at the 7th class, how to do that, and what can the county help you do? What kind of projects and programs can we help you with? And so stay tuned. Like I said, the next one on the 25th is volunteers. This is something I hear neighborhood leaders talk about. I can't get anyone to volunteer. Well, I also know, because I'm work with these communities, that they didn't put it on Facebook. They didn't put a call to action or anything like that. So you can't expect people to drop what they're doing. People have jobs. People, on their day off, they're like, okay, I got to go to the grocery store, I got to do this, I got to do that. So you can't expect them at the last minute to drop that. If it's an emergency, that's a different thing. You can say it's an emergency. But if you want, so we'll talk about the ways to get volunteers, how to attract them and how to retain them. Very important. This kind of work is labor intensive. One person can't do it. And it's important to realize that volunteers have a choice. They can volunteer anywhere. Why should they volunteer with you guys? So we'll talk about how you pump that up so they want to do it. But you guys are awesome. I really, really, really want to hear what your thoughts are. You can email me. You've got my email. Let me know if you thought this was helpful. Is there anything else you wanted covered in this module that we didn't cover? Is there, if you have questions, like what can we do for you? Or can you help me with this? Obviously that too. Like I said, we do technical assistance. So if you want to know how to create a board. What are the steps? How do we do an election? How do we do that?
A Facebook group for your community.
Yep. How to do Facebook. We can do that. We can help you with that. How to develop a neighborhood database. That
we could even help you with, we can even help you with doing like maybe the first flyer and first mail out for your first community meeting if you have not organized one yet.
Right.
I have a question. This is Ngoni Zashe. I have a question regarding the minutes for the meeting, right? So the minutes doesn't have to be detailed.
No, it's not a transcript.
Right. Your minutes are, they're basically the actions. What action was taken? If you ask for a vote on should we apply for this grant, and grant funders typically want to know the board approved applying for the grant, because this is just an example of why minutes are important. The grant funders want to know, that the board approved doing this, because that means there's certain reports that have to be done. The funds have to be allocated properly, blah, blah, blah. So you don't want to just have one person apply for something and the board doesn't know about it. And then there's all these things that have to happen. And I will tell you, if you're going to apply, Community Foundation, we'll talk about this at the 7th, has community revitalization grants, but you do have to be a nonprofit and you do have to have these accountability things like agendas and minutes. And that's why if you want to move forward and your community has a vision that requires more money or resources than the county can provide, and you can leverage the county's money, which you can. We have our own grant program, it's $10,000, and you can leverage that with money from, like, say, Community Foundation. So how do you do that? And I've been in the nonprofit world for years, and I will tell you that every project that we did like housing projects, affordable housing, was a patchwork of money. There wasn't one source of money. It was 4 or 5 sources of money coming together to make a project happen. But that's on a very big scale. I'm talking about maybe if you want to do a playground or update your playground equipment, or you want to do a playground, and you're going to have to leverage the 10,000 that we have with other funds, or advocate to the county for new equipment. Maybe the equipment is unsafe or something, and it's just not, the metal monkey bars aren't good anymore. But so you have to at least show some accountability, and that you have some people behind you. You have to show we have a board and we voted that we want to have a playground here, and you'll get more, juice by having people and an organization behind you than just one person. One person in a community.
Yeah. I just wanted to add about the minutes, Vivian, and it's like you said, you are on the point. You need to only focus on the main actions. If there is a project or something that you have been working, you want to provide an update. You also want to provide some direction of what are the actions that are to be undertaken in the future. And I would recommend that maybe Vivian can put together a template of completed minutes, like a sample minutes for a neighborhood association that may include, like some of the existing business, new actions, like a resolution by the board regarding a project that they want to move forward. Like Vivian said, it is critical to have that as part of the minutes, because the funders many times want to make sure that there is a community or board consensus on a project that your group is applying for funding. So I would recommend that a template be shared with all the participants.
I will do that. I have all that, and I'm going to copy you on all that stuff so that you have it. And yeah, I will do that. So
thank you.
Anyone else have any anything you would
You
like?
can't really get Nadia's stuff. She must be over she, or she must be on the same level as she, but she's the lead. But she have put in here 50 cents worth.
Okay. All right. I have sample minutes to send to you. I have Robert's Rules of Order cheat sheet to send to you. And I have a sample agenda to send to you. So I'll send all that to you. I was hoping if we met in person, I would make a binder for all of you with all these things in it, with the training modules, PowerPoint, and then all these addendums, but that just didn't happen. We had to pivot with the new variant. We had to pivot. So, and I apologize for that. That's just how things are lately. We have to start and stop on a dime. And I hope WebEx was easier for you to get on and participate. And, you know, I think we're all learning. We're all learning our new roles in the virtual world. Hey, look at all these great pictures here. Look at these. Wow, I need to go to your photographer. Deliska, I love your photo. And you, Nadine, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I am glad you came, all of you. I like to see your smiling faces, and I like to, it makes me feel positive for the future. So, and so many young people too. That makes me feel, because I'm old, so we gotta pass the baton to the next generation, right? I'm in that club too.
I have a question for George Scott.
Here.
That background, what program is that? I love Northern Lights. I'm from Northern Minnesota, and we always saw Northern Lights, and I miss them.
This is just Zoom. If you click on by your profile picture and your camera, and there's three little dots, and you should see something that says choose virtual background.
Yes. Maybe you can try it now.
Let me see if I can.
Where's my virtual background?
Good question.
Mine in my office, so you know.
I see Rose has a beautiful office background, so she knows how to do the background.
Yes.
Did you see this virtual background screen? It's right here by these three dots. It says choose virtual background, and you can actually choose, you know, what your background wants to look like.
Did you see mine? Did they see mine?
I have view in the upper right-hand corner. I don't see where you're grabbing that from.
Do you see these three little dots here?
No.
No, I don't.
It's the one that said non-blur, and then there's a plus, background, and then filters.
Yeah. So there's backgrounds and filters. So the filters actually do goofy things.
Just show him from the beginning. How did you get it, George?
So I just clicked over by my profile picture. There's these three little dots next to where you can mute yourself. And on my option, I don't know if it's because I'm a co-host, but there's choose virtual background. There's choose virtual background. You can select if you're at the beach, if you just want to blur, if you want to just show your office, or you know,
get more pictures.
And then there's studio effects. So if you want to give yourself eyebrows, or I already have facial hair, but if you wanted to give yourself some facial hair, you could give yourself some facial hair and change the color of your lips, and there's different video filters. So if you want to look funny, you can look funny, and you know, give yourself a hat. There's nothing here to give me any hair, but you know, the closest thing I can do is you know, actually cover my head. So you know, there's all kinds of crazy things that you can do on Zoom. So it's actually a really cool program. So I'm really
but the lights that he requested, where do you get
that? They were right here. I didn't download it.
Yeah, that's a choice. It's one of the choices.
Yeah, if you don't see it, you may need to update your Zoom, and or if you do the Zoom virtual background download package, maybe there's something that you can download. But I don't think that I added anything custom.
You know, maybe after we finish all the sessions, if you are interested, we can do like a rush Zoom
Training?
session and
it's
training, a
already on
quick one,
Zoom.
because now
That's a good
everybody's
idea.
using it, and we can ask George. George, I am
I can do anything.
nominating you. I am nominating you to do a quick rush training on Zoom, because now it looks like everybody is using that. Oh, Lennon, I like that.
Lennon's
Look at
good. He's
him.
got, look at Rose. He's got
Zorro.
Zorro. Here we go.
And Jessica said that all virtual backgrounds can be downloaded for free. So
yeah,
if you don't
that's a
see
great
them,
idea, Ruth.
Oh,
That's a great-
Rose, I love those happy faces.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going
I
to work
love
on
that.
that. Thank you very much, George. Thank you.
and there's actually reactions as well. So if you wanted to put in a little reactions, if you
That's
look
good.
in the bottom of your screen, that you can put in different ways, and there's ways that you can raise your hand. So like if you're trying to
Yes.
talk, and I know
saw
that Vivian likes to talk a lot, and she doesn't really have many breaks. So if you need to say something and you're waiting for her to stop, just hit the raise your hand feature, and then I can always walk over to her and let her know, hey, this person's been trying to talk.
I'm trying to do something. Can you see my background?
I cannot see it. It just says iPhone. I don't even know your name. I'm sorry.
Oh, my name is Sylvia. Sylvia
Oh,
Bennett.
Sylvia. Oh,
Hi,
excellent.
Sylvia.
I'm from Jamaica.
Yes, we can tell. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Thank you.
We're multicultural here. That's good. We're represented. We're represented. And Mr. Bellencourt, I love your Haitian art behind you. I have a friend that deals in Haitian art, and I recognize that style. So, and that's a new person coming up. The next leader, next generation of leaders. Now you guys are leaders. I can tell. You show up, you interact, and I want to make you more interactive. And with Zoom, we can do that. It's a little harder with WebEx, so that's why Ruth, thank you, Ruth, for getting us Zoom. And
No problem. No problem.
Hopefully
we can see more and more folks at the next training.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people.
Oh my God.
Zimbabwe. I'm from Africa. So we
From where?
definitely multicultural. I'm from Zimbabwe.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
Zimbabwe.
Very cool. I think you won the award for furthest away.
I don't think he's in Zimbabwe right now, but
Yeah. Are you sure you're not in Zimbabwe right now?
I know, but I wish I would connect with you from Zimbabwe.
I want to go to Zimbabwe. So you tell me where to go, what to
I
do.
think these new features that we have right now, our October 30th meeting, we might as well do it all dressed up for Halloween.
Oh yes, I vote for that. I vote for that. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good job.
Remember,
I can see Ceci that she show what you are drinking.
Whoa.
Show what you are drinking.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
It's
Ceci,
mate.
That is mate,
mate.
from Argentina. It's
It's an infusion. It's a kind
Water.
of infusion, like a
Flavored
tea,
water.
for example.
No,
Yeah.
it's like green tea. It's like
Very
the
green tea.
Oh,
Remember,
wow.
make the meetings
Healthy.
fun. That'll make the October meeting fun.
Okay,
Yes.
I think that we need to I think that it is a mandate. Even, Halloween can also be with these toys that George showed you. You don't have to bring actually anything, but you can wear funny things, okay?
You can make it.
I don't know. I may bring something
Lenny's got his
real.
mustache.
Yeah, I may bring something real. So I don't know.
I may have to do that too.
Yeah.
Halloween is one
I
of my
think that
favorite
is.
holidays.
Yeah. So Vivian, remind everybody on the emails that it is the Halloween day. So
Yeah.
we are coming with, dress appropriate virtually or really.
Costumes are encouraged.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. Is the meeting gonna be on the same time every Saturday?
Yes.
Oh.
The next meeting is the 25th, though.
Okay.
Next meeting, the 25th. So we skip a week. And that's only because we'd already set the dates, because we were going to be in person at the Ag Center, Mounts Botanical. And so those dates were already set and they were already posted. And so unfortunately, it was too late to change them, but everybody needs a break, right? Once in a while. Everybody has Saturday chores, I'm sure. So I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Saturday and participating. And I hope, like I said, let me know, for better or for worse, what was good, what was bad. If we don't get feedback, we don't know.
What's that, Sylvia?
For better for worse, or richer for poor.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Vivian, you did great. Awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank you, Vivian.
Listen, I love helping. I really love helping residents be empowered. That's basically what I've been doing my professional career. So, and I like being on the ground with the people because it's very fulfilling to see them, see you guys grow and make change in a positive way.
And then after the program ends, and if the entire group wants it, maybe like once a month or something like that, we get in touch for a little bit. If anyone wants to share some successes in your communities, or there is anything that you want to do, or you have questions, or if we have anything, we have like we have wonderful programs in our office. I am not sure what communities you represent, and we are not too many today. Can everybody go through and just let us know where do you reside, what your community is?
My community, this is Lantana.
Okay, what is your neighborhood?
I don't know.
What part of
more
Lantana
or
are you?
less?
So tell us an address.
An address or what?
7898 Griswold Street, Lantana, Florida, 33462.
Yeah, you don't need actually to provide the exact address, but just to, near to what area. Yeah.
I want to know what's my community area too. I don't know.
Oh, she wants to know what is the name of the neighborhood. So then you need to, unfortunately, you are on the phone, so you cannot chat. Or...
No, I'm not on the phone. I think there's a call coming. I'm not taking the call.
So if you do the chat, you can actually send a private message to George if you don't feel comfortable in sharing your address, and George will check in what community it is and let you know.
Okay.
And just so you know, another thing what?
You live in Crystal Drive, you said? Looks like it's part of Lake Osmore.
Huh?
Is Lake Osmore? Oh.
No, okay. I'm in Lantana, just above Lake Worth.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that over by Jog Road or Military or?
Yeah, Seacrest and Military.
Oh,
Seacrest and Appalachia Road.
Okay.
So that might be Sandcastle.
Yeah, that's Sandcastle.
Yeah, I think it's Sandcastle too. Yeah,
I think it is. I don't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I see Brenda just wrote in the chat. She is from Limestone Creek. Welcome, Brenda.
Oh, thank you.
She's one of the people who are on the iPhone.
I am in Plantation.
Who is?
That's Junior. That's Junior from Plantation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
We also have earlier from Plantation.
I'm at Logan Run and West Boca community. Yeah.
Okay. Joggers Run, and I see here
Loggers Run.
Loggers Run.
Yeah, it's, Lenin is asking in the chat who was, I think that is Junior.
Junior,
Plantation.
Stephen Alvar was here earlier, and he's from Plantation as well.
And then I see here that Rose is in Colony Reserve in Lake Worth, you know. But again, the purpose of this training is not to talk about what we do, all the work that we do, but it is about resident empowerment. But resident empowerment also has a lot to do with having access to resources. And in order to have access to resources, you need to know what it is available. So
Exactly.
I say there is one session, I believe, that Vivian is going to talk about key agencies in the county, and also is going to go through everything that we do. That will be a wonderful session, because we have great resources, even in our office, that we would love to share with you, so you know that you can access them for your neighborhood improvements. Okay, we have different programs.
Perfect.
Wait until the end of November.
And Sabrina
Okay,
said
so
Andros Isles. She sent it to me instead of everybody, but Sabrina is in Andros Isles and West Palm.
Okay.
Oh, Andros side is right there next to our office.
Yeah.
Or San Juan Lenin is in Northwood.
Oh, Lenin's
Very nice community.
Yep.
Yeah, that it has evolved over the last few years into
Yes.
into a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah, I worked in Northwood for 6 years. 6 years. So, yeah. That was a fun job. And who was I gonna? The Xinia. Am I saying your name right?
Yesenia.
Yesenia. Where are you
Yesenia.
from? What? Oh, Yesenia.
Cuban.
What name?
Yesenia. I in Green Acres, like main lay states, but I work in Forest Hill High School. I a teacher for Hill. I mean, my community is.
Oh, we need to talk because we need to make sure that all students in the communities that we serve participating in our annual back to school event. Okay,
Right.
It's a wonderful program where we provide backpacks, and we will see if this year we can bring it back inside. So we offer haircuts and immunizations and so forth. We have not been able to do that because of the pandemic. So
What is your neighborhood?
Yeah, I also want that in my neighborhood. If we can talk to.
I can't hear.
What was
and
that,
you know
Junior?
if there are sorry.
No, I was saying I also want that in my neighborhood, plantation neighborhood, that home back to school program.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
So please send me an email with the details so we can discuss that also.
I'm going to send a link
Okay.
in the chat, but it's backtoschoolpbc.org.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the registration is not open now. It's going to open, soon for the
Next year.
next year.
Yeah.
For next year. And George just copied it on the chat room. And I think that it would, you guys, one thing that I wanted to say at the beginning, but now that as we get to know you a little more, I'm sure we will get to know you as the years pass. I think that one of the first steps about resident empowerment is about the desire by the people who live in the community to be leaders, right? And to start connecting with others. And by you coming into the program, you are already showing that commitment to really, try to make your community a better place, to live, work, and play. So as we progress with the training, and even after the training, I think that is key based on the experiences that you have and what you go through. You can share with Vivian some of the things that you have that you encounter, problems that you in general encounter as you do the work in your communities, or things that you will want to learn about. And then Vivian can put a list and share it with the rest of the group. And then, like I said, once a month or once every other month, depending on what you guys decide, we can focus on one or two different items. And then I'm sure that Vivian would be happy. She loves working with residents. And, we wish we could do this every week, but we can't. We don't have such the resources. But, we can, it's like a little hub, a little group that you can go back and maybe share your frustrations, share about the things that you are doing, or how to celebrate, improvements in the community, or any step-ups that you have, and as a group, because it's, community organizing is always an organic process. And it is not just about government. Government honestly provides some resources, but nothing will happen if it is not about you and what you do. And so I think that we also have to learn from you about what are the things that start working or not working in the community,
That's why feedback is good for us, because again, resources are limited, and if we can do something better that works for you and helps you, you telling us how to, what the need is and what is not being addressed. And that happens. And that needs morph and change. Look at COVID. So, but we need to hear your feedback of what's happening. What challenges are you facing? And like I said, Office of Community Revitalization, we do have a number of programs and technical assistance that we can help you with. But if there's something that we don't have, or, maybe we could look at doing in the future, that would be great too. You guys are on the ground every day. You see what needs to be done. We're a conduit to reach some resources, not everything, but we certainly want to know what you're facing and what's the fit with county and your neighborhood. So to see what we can bring to the table.
If you guys don't know that we do offer speed bump programs for your communities, as well as street lights. We do have monthly meetings where you can participate. We have a meeting coming up. I think it's in less than 2 weeks, where we have, guest speakers, and that's our CCRT meeting. And, we have, as Ruth mentioned, we have, grant programs, which you can get, $10,000 per grant. And, some people actually apply for multiple grants for the same community. So I posted the link in the chat earlier for if you're interested in learning about that. And if you missed last week's meeting, I posted up the link where you can, access all the resources as they get updated. So you can see the PowerPoints from last week.
I believe that our grant will be available again sometime in February of next year.
Right.
So start planning, what kind of things that you want to
Think
get
about
done.
what you want to do. Yeah.
Try to get your group together, because, you're probably going to need some help writing the grant, from your neighborhood.
And deciding what project to tackle. It's also, and like I said, George said, some of our communities have gotten 6 grants in the same year. So you can do multiple projects, and it's a pretty flexible grant program as far as what projects you can do. And again, we can provide technical assistance and help you. If you have an idea, you can run it by us, and we can say, well, that's not a good fit for this program, or what about this, and help you to kind of refine what you're thinking and help you move forward.
And you don't have to live in our CCRT communities to apply for that grant as well.
Right. You don't.
So you guys
Unincorporated county.
Yeah, unincorporated.
Sorry.
You guys can help. You guys can help to guide me, like if I want to apply for a grant, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, for example, again, it's not to discuss all now, but so you know, we have developed a relationship with like an organization that is called Neighborhood Link National at the national level. So like, for example, if you desire after you get, and we can talk about, we can have like little chats like this after each of the, after each of the presentations, when the presentations end. But I don't know the level of organization in your community, but after you have a chorus group and you start meeting and you want to get the word out, if you are interested in having like a little community website, we can, help you set it up with Neighborhood Link, but a link, and it's free of cost. And then George, Vivian, or myself can also help you to set up a community Facebook page if you are interested, but you have to have someone who is going to be committed to administer that page and make sure, that you follow up on that,
Keep content going.
And Vivian, we have a question from Brenda. She wants to know if there's a class offered for grant writing.
Not specifically grant writing, but the last class, which is, working with Palm Beach County and accessing grant funding, we will have Randy Palo from Children's Community Service and talking about how to do grants. It's more of a general what funders are looking for and that kind of thing. It's not a grant writing class, and it's not that specific, to be honest. It's something we can look at for sure. That's a great idea. I will look at some resources and see if I can find something that's more specific, and we can add something in the future for that, because even the NEAT grant, that which is our grant for 10,000, it's probably one of the easier grants I've ever seen, but even that is, can be difficult if you haven't done it before, describing the project and the benefit to the community and that kind of thing. And what I've done is I've offered to do this is, if you do the write-up, I will help you refine that so that it is more likely to get funded. So that's, our goal is to give you technical assistance, not to do it for you. I mean, you have to have the idea, you have to have the concept and all that. And then, I'm happy to give you some, pointers to help make it, more likely to get approved. Because there is a committee that makes recommendations for which ones get approved in the county. So we want everybody to, if you don't get a grant, at least learn from that process as well. And that learning what worked and what didn't. And we're happy to tell you, I know Crystal, who administers that grant, she'd be happy to tell you why what the rationale for not getting approved and, or why it got approved. So she's a great resource, Crystal Matthews, and she runs the NEAT grant, neighborhood enhancement and neighborhood. I always call it NEAT, but I don't know what all the acronyms for.
Neighborhood Engagement and Transformation Grant.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if you guys have a template that we can use, to apply for that grant.
We do have actually. Vivian, let's get together on Monday. But we have somewhere from the Children's Service Council, and then when we used to have the REAP program at the end of the book, there is like a nice template for how to write the proposal. Not only how to write the proposals, but also how do you go about searching for a grant? What are the things that you need to do for even searching for a grant? And then how, what are the things that need to take into consideration? I see Sylvia is asking, she wants to ask a question.
Yes, thank you. I've been waiting so long.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, where I'm living is, I really need some help. I don't know how to go about grant meeting to, because I wanted me and my husband to combine together to buy a condo, because where we are living now, I mean, like, if we stay here any longer, it's gonna happen to us just like what happened at the south side. It's that bad.
No, wait from there. Come on.
What happened?
We need to get a grant to help ourselves to get a condo, and I don't know how to go about it.
Did you? I wanted to make sure that I understand the. No, Vivian, please take it. You take it.
Okay. Sylvia, that's not in our realm. You're talking about down payment assistance. And okay, so that is housing, the county housing department, and I would be happy to send you a link, and so you can see what they have. And there's obviously, you know, they have, because it's federal money, they have income restrictions and things like that. So
and they also have a waiting list. You can also share. I believe that community partners is also handling the housing partnership, and sometimes when there is a waiting list with the county, the process of getting a grant through an outside nonprofit, it can be faster. So that's another option.
Okay.
I'll send you a link, Sylvia.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay.
And Sabrina wants to know if the template can be emailed to them.
You mean for the grant?
The grant Sylvia,
Sabrina
do you mean the grant application for the NEAT grant?
The template for.
She said yes.
Okay. Okay, for NEAT. I can just send you what.
And also I believe for how to apply for a grant and the yes and don'ts of a grant writing.
Right.
You also want that, Sabrina?
Well, we have that on class 7. So we have that. And I'm going to have Randy talk.
Yeah, she wants that too.
Yeah. So the NEAT grant, I'm just going to send that the template for it from last year, our last round, and the link to for that. So I'll send you how it looks, and I can even put in there maybe some ones that got funded, you know, and show you kind
They
of
also
what.
They also want the how to go about what you need to do about grant writing, but we can talk on Monday. I share what I saw.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Other questions?
Anything else?
I think I'm good to myself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Great way to spend a Saturday
Thank you.
morning. Thank you very much. It was a great way to spend a Saturday morning. Thank you.
Oh,
Learned a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Ciao. Ciao. Hasta luego.
Ciao. Have a nice weekend.
We can just can we just start to
Thank you,
talk.
Sabrina.
Was that was you?
That was Junior right now.
Yeah.
Junior from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Everyone enjoy the rest of the weekend.
You
Thank
too.
you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'm looking forward for the email. And
All right, Sylvia.
Okay.
Thanks. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
George, so funny.
Yeah.
Captain Kelly came back for us.
All right, so I think he's maybe he's going to another meeting. No, he just texted out. Okay.
There he is. Welcome back, Captain Kelly.
I don't think he ended it.
Okay. So we will close, I guess, the training. I thought that
Yep.
was awesome, and I just love the interaction among everybody. That
Yes.
made
Yeah.
the day. That made the
Yeah.
day.
Made the
And you
day.
guys, and you, Vivian, great job, and
Thank
George,
you.
awesome job too.
I know.
Yeah,
Thank
wonderful
goodness for
job.
George. He keeps
Yeah,
it.
I know.
He keeps it all together. He keeps it glued.
I know.
He's the glue. Because honestly, it's yeah. You always need
I
someone
have
to.
to, it is unfortunate that I completely forgot about that. You had already scheduled this date because the 25th, I have a commitment. So
Right.
it's at 9. So what I may be able to do is I may join you with my outfit for a little bit, and then I will listen, but I will have, access just in case, but I will not be able to join
Yeah.
you because I have an appointment and I cannot. It was done,
Yeah.
a
No,
while back.
that's
So,
fine. Well,
okay.
thank you, Ruth. I appreciate your input, and it was great. It was good.
Okay.
It was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
guys,
Have
have
a
a
good time.
wonderful weekend. I see you
Thanks.
on Monday, and I hope
Okay.
that we have a good, comfortable temperature in the office on Monday. Just bring your hats and sweaters, just in case.
I know. Bye.
I know. Bye, sweetie. Bye, George. And bye, Sabrina.